This week on the show, we're talking about video games. We're talking about movies. We're talking about... I think that's mostly it. I didn't really have an intro written this time. I was trying to get news. We're talking sports. We are talking sports because it is sports month. Welcome to Sports Month. Nerdigo News. Great call, Jackson. Bruno, do the thing. Welcome to Nerdigo News. I'm Riley Trahan, Senior Entertainment Editor here at Nerdigo Media. And as always, I am joined by my co-hosts, Deepak Chitness.
Sports Month, Sports Month, Sports Month, Sports
Producer
sports.
Bruno.
Go Hawks.
And my sidekick in this and all things, young Jackson Trahan.
Limpo gold medalist.
You did, actually. I always forget that you did get a gold medal in the shooting and skiing one.
Simultaneously. That's what they didn't expect.
They got rid of it, actually. They did. You went that time.
Because I was too good. They were like, you did it perfect. Why would we do this again?
Throw it out and make them stop now. Did you guys see the video of that guy? What is that called? It's not the decathlon. It's the...
Is this the guy who was the shooting?
Biathlon. But there was, from the last where they stop and they do target shooting and then they get back up and then they start skiing.
Indeed.
But I saw a video where one of the guys not...
It is a real event, yes. Oh, wow, Riley didn't just make this insane thing up off the cuff.
No. I thought this was like some Super Mario Olympics thing.
When your father goes to the United States Military Academy at West Point, you watch a lot of shooting sports on television.
So, yeah, it is the biathlon.
The biathlon was popular in our house. Anyway, I saw a guy, I thought this was real great sportsmanship that I wanted to highlight just to kick off Sports Month. Knocked the pole out of another one of the skier's hands, accidentally. Gave him his pole.
Operated one pole?
Did one pole after that. Said, sorry, man, my bad. I thought that was good.
That's what you have to do when you're doing the simultaneous ski and shoot.
Well, yeah, right. You're used to that. Welcome to Nerdigo News. I'm Riley Trahan, Senior Entertainment Editor here at Nerdigo. I'm assuming we're not getting rid of all that. Deepak Chitness, Jackson Trahan, Bruno Meneses, Sports Month, Sports Month. Let's get into it. We wanted to start with some housekeeping. First of all, it is Sports Month, and if you want to keep up with my great story about the biathlon and all of our other sports-related content, you're going to want to make sure that you subscribe to the show. You can do that at nerdigo.com. You can do it at youtube.com/@nerdigomedia. You can follow us on social, on Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and TikTok. Or you can subscribe to the show wherever fine podcasts are sold. These are all options available to you. Take whichever one feels right in your heart. Follow the show. We're not going to be on next week. Next week, we're not doing it. We just said forget about it. It's President's Day.
It's my son's birthday. We're out.
Deepak really wanted to observe President's Day. No, I had a bit I had prepared, Deepak. Deepak really wanted to. It was important to him that he observe President's Day. He said, I can't record. So we're not doing it.
Rutherford B. Hayes is important to me, personally.
So we're off next week, but we'll be back after that. And we'll have other stuff going on in the feed. Jackson and I need to have a time to catch up on Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Lots going on there.
Yeah, exciting.
Bruno and I have comics talk to do.
Yes, sir.
There's a ton of really good Miami Vice episodes coming your way if you're behind the paywall. $10 a month, you get Miami Vice. You get more content coming soon. It's a great time. I actually thought today's episode was like some banger Miami Vice stuff. And depending on what we can work out in the workflows, they might be having soon little video clips from the episodes in there. Maybe, Bruno? Maybe?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
We're pitching this live.
We don't have to.
I can work on it. I can
pitching Bruno this extra work right now on the show. But anyway,
this isn't even a podcast. This is just a production meeting at this point.
Yeah.
We're not. Yeah.
I'll do it for a raise from 0 to nothing.
Perfect. We can definitely facilitate that. We have some personal news to share. Well, professional personal news. News about this very website that you're on right now, nerdigo.com. We, and when I say we, I mean Deepak Chitness, the film critic for a South by Southwest cleared... Credentialed is the word I was looking for. Publication. And myself are going to be bumming around South by Southwest, talking to famos, going to red carpet movie premieres, and bringing it all to you on the socials and on the website. That's going to be happening from March 12th to March 18th. So you want to subscribe now so you don't miss that stuff.
Yep.
Organic plug. But hey, guys, we should talk about the fact that we're going to South by Southwest. This is insane.
It's nuts.
Do we want to talk about the movies that we're looking at seeing? Maybe Deepak, do we want to give people sort of a preview of some of the stuff that we know we're going to be watching?
Yeah, I think the two big like major titles that aren't just like indie movies that might hopefully break out are I Love Boosters, which is the new Boots Riley movie.
Yep.
Boots Riley, of course, did Sorry to Bother You with Lakeith Stanfield back in 2018 or 19, somewhere around that time frame. And this is his first feature since that. It stars Keke Palmer, among other people. The other big one is Ready or Not 2, Here I Come.
And can I say that if we get to do one thing as a media organization at this film festival, I hope we get to shake the hand of the person that named the movie.
I was gonna say, you gotta support. We're such stands for the good.
That's the thing. As much as we're there for Nerdigo, and we should get business cards and all the swag that have Nerdigo Media on there, we also need to form our LLC.
We need to get our thing going. Yeah, no, this is the opportunity.
Our movie titling consulting firm, where it's like, look, if you're gonna make a Jurassic World that has the old cast and the new cast, and you don't call it Jurassic World Collide, you're dumb.
What are we even doing here?
We're going around to all the
What's the point of making the movie?
We're going over our dead body. Margot's got more money problems.
You're just getting them. You're going around. Bam, bam.
Yeah, Alice and Nick and Nick and Alice or whatever. Just make it like a math equation.
Nick and Nick and Alice and Mike and Nick.
Yeah. It should be
I still
Mike.
gotta watch the first Ready or Not.
It should be Alex apostrophe Mike plus Nick, and then it gets distributed evenly, right? Yeah.
Sender, but the S is a 2 now. We'll get them all now, and then if their sequels get cleared, we get paid. You got
Those should be your business cards. Your business cards on the front should say Nerdigo Media, and on the back you should have just the name that their movie should have been.
Yeah.
Have one for
it'll have to be personalized for every single person we hope to run into.
That's, you write those on with a ballpoint pen to show off your handwriting is what you do, Jack.
Sure.
That's a dating tip I learned from my man Burton Guster. So we're going to be seeing those ones. We're going to be seeing Power Ballad with Paul Rudd and friend of Wives of the Show, Nick Jonas. We're going to be seeing, Jack really liked that one. We're hopefully going to be seeing the pilot episode of the new TV series Margot's Got Money Problems.
With Academy Award nominee Elle Fanning.
Elle Fanning.
At the Oscars during the time we are at South by Southwest. It's that Sunday, the 15th.
Yeah, so if we do an Oscar episode, the four of us, Deepak and I are going to be like radioing in from Texas or whatever. You might theoretically, I don't know what our travel plans are. Over Your Dead Body, I think, is the new Apple TV show. We're hoping to be able to see that and bring people a preview of that. And then some of those other ones that we were listing off. Yeah, Mike and Nick and Alice, Sender, They Will Kick You, Wishful Thinking. These are all sort of genre-y.
I think it's They Will Kill You,
we'll
not They Will Kick You.
Oh, what did I say? They will kill you, not they will kick you. I'm still doing it if I had legs.
Which I need to finish that. Yeah.
There's a movie literally called Pizza Movie that's going to be at South by Southwest. It's just a stoner comedy that I'm looking forward to. So if you guys like that one,
we'll hit it up.
Yeah, that might be something we should check out. I like pizza.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's with
Gaten Matarazzo. Yeah.
I was going to say it's with yet untested actor, the one kid that popped from Stranger Things. Yeah, absolutely. I'll see him in the movie. Sure.
The girl from Godzilla?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I did forget about her. She's like in a whole other class that she's like a real actor. So anyway, we want to just let people know that that's on the horizon. We got that coming. I don't know if we're going to put as fun and catchy and definitely stick with it a theme as Sports Month on it. But, we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's start off by getting to the news. Anybody want to get us going? Who's excited to talk about their story?
I'll talk about mine. Riley, you sent this over the news desk to me prior to us recording here.
I did. I gave you an assignment like a real editor.
You were like,
you were like, hey, Deepak, I know you want to talk about this, but I want you to talk about something I know you don't like.
Well, yeah, Deepak, your story got upgraded to the main slot. It's okay.
Yeah, that's true. So this is, of course, an IO9 interview by Germain Lucier, published today, February 11th, with one Dan Trachtenberg, who has resuscitated and soundly killed the Predator franchise in the last few years. Of course, he directed Prey, which was great. He directed Predator Killer of Killers, which was pretty good. And then he directed Predator Badlands, which was dog shit.
Jesus Christ.
And to that end, the story starts with him sharing an anecdote that he apparently thought he would never share because basically it is after one of the test screenings. He was in the bathroom, and he said there was a couple other people from the test screening who ended up in the bathroom and didn't know that he was the director of the movie, so they were just discussing it. And the quote is, one is saying, "Why the fuck would they make that movie after Prey?" And the other guy goes, "That was awful." And I'm Trachtenberg, like, I'm dead, we're screwed. I just wanted to die. I thought my career's over. It sucks. However, he was disabused of that notion by an 86% Rotten Tomatoes score and about $200 million in box office revenue. And seems to be quite proud of the disaster
And
that
the
he's
person
made.
in that bathroom was Deepak.
It was me. I had to have already seen it, unfortunately.
You just lurk around like Hollywood screening bathrooms just to like rattle directors.
Yeah, this is why I never talk about movies.
See, I'm hired, and this is another thing that we can talk about when we're at South by Southwest, Riley. That my psyops business that I run for different studios, where it's like,
you're right. The studios get you in there to fuck with them, so they'll take your cut.
That's the thing. So Disney hired me to go to a test screening of One Battle After Another, just to go like stand behind Paul Thomas Anderson in the concession line, being like, "Man, that was terrible. They should bring Sean Penn should still be alive after the car crash." Is what the movie really.
He was
needs.
my favorite character.
Yeah, why would they kill him? But yeah, the gist of the article after that is generally talking about how much of the movie was kind of based on the script and how much of it came about during the process of shooting it, and how they decided to take stuff from the previous Predator movies and other Alien movies. And because it's not a real movie in and of itself, it's now turned into Star Wars, James Bond, whatever, where each movie is basically just a collection of references from stuff in the prior franchise installments. Riley and I know Riley and I saw the movie when it came out, and I think we did a podcast on it, and I think we both agreed that it was, I don't know if Riley was as negative about it as I was, but it's bad.
I had a hard time with it. It wasn't made for me, I think, is the big problem. Right?
Yeah, and I'm okay. And I've made my
Classic
peace with franchises that have moved on past us, whether that's Star Wars. I think Indiana Jones is going to do that, and maybe even Bond with Amazon is going to do that for me, which would be tragic. But this is so unrecognizable compared to what precedes it in the franchise.
I think that's the challenging thing.
With the cuddly monsters. And I didn't even care about the PG-13 because it's all like alien goo crap anyway.
Yeah, it can be green blood. That's fine.
Right, but it's just so tonally and narratively anathema to what came before it, that for someone who, like Trachtenberg, has clearly had a reverence for this franchise with the two movies he made prior to this, I don't know where he thought this was a good idea. And you had, I think, in our discussion, pointed out that with the three movies he's made now in this like Disney Predator era, they're all kind of like going for a different thing because Disney is trying to see what sticks the best. And I really hope it's not this, but of course this is the only one that got a theatrical release, so maybe.
And this one does feel like the most Disney does Predator.
Yeah.
By way of how we've seen Disney sort of retool other properties around their vision, right? I mean, we don't talk about this very often, but the pre-Disney MCU did have at least a little bit of an edge. Like Tony Stark slept with that reporter from Vanity Fair. Like
the first Captain America has a lot of blood. People forget.
Yes, exactly. I think Thor is like an edgier movie than people remember it to be. But then once Disney buys them, they really become sort of Disneyfied. I think Star Wars, it's clear to see how that's become Disneyfied. And I do think that like this was the Disneyfication of the Predator franchise. It's interesting to compare it to like Alien Romulus, for example, which I do think was kind of like Disney, Alien by way of Disney. But it doesn't.
It still feels like it's cut from the same cloth.
This is like a like if the Predator was Stitch, I feel it, right? Like this is just live, I was gonna say this is live action Lilo and Stitch.
Live action.
That was a movie they made.
They did, they did do that too.
Yeah,
But
I do agree
Romulus
with you though,
still
Riley.
feels like it's cut from the same cloth. It still feels like it is made of it feels within that world. And I don't know that Badlands. Sorry, Jack, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just gonna say I agree that it feels like they're trying to figure out what they want to do, or if they want to pursue anything with this IP that they now own.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see a lot of that as they keep going through the back catalogs of everything they
discover
buy.
there are more and more Fox studios, and they keep buying more movie studios. Yeah, I think it's interesting because in this scenario, surely, whether it's DeMauro, new CEO of Disney. Hey, we haven't talked about that yet. Josh DeMauro named new CEO of Disney.
Yep. Since
our last episode where we prognosticated it would in fact be him.
We're really good at this.
We're trendsetters. We've said it so many times. like the ultimate Disney brained project is, of course, an Alien versus Predator reboot, right? Like that is,
Which this one opens the door to at the end.
it's unavoidable.
Right.
So it's just sort of like following the breadcrumbs there. But I'm wondering if they have if they have a Disneyfied Alien versus Predator in mind, and like what that looks like, and if they are reverse engineering from there to get to what they want. I do think that Trachtenberg and I would prefer Trachtenberg to the guy who directed Romulus.
Oh no, I would take Fede Alvarez any day.
I don't like how squishy Fede Alvarez's movies are.
I don't find Romulus squishy. I found Badlands squishy.
Romulus was pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do you mean visually squishy?
No, I mean
I
just
think
tonally.
Riley means how much goo is involved.
I mean, yeah, he like covers these actresses in corn syrup or whatever.
Oh, I thought you meant tonally or aesthetically.
No, I mean they're like squelching through the sets.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
I got you, Riley.
no mention here. I was disappointed of the rumored second Predator movie that was supposed to come out last year. I guess maybe that's
wasn't
Killer-
that the second Predator?
That was Killer of Killers.
Killers?
Killer
Is
of
that-
Killers was
Killer
the,
of Killers
it
came
was
out
the
in the
secret
summer.
Predator movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the
so
secret one?
That was the animated one, yeah, which was not bad. Yeah.
Indeed.
I suppose I could see a world like that would make sense to me. It would make sense that there was like a thing they were going to advertise as maybe not a Predator movie, and then you would watch it. It was just called The Killer of Killers, and then you would watch it, and it would.
I do enjoy Killer of Killers a lot. That was like one of my top 10 last year.
I like that one. Yeah.
I was hoping it would be a thing where, like, in the third act, all of a sudden the Predator would show up.
That's what I was hoping too when they first teased it. That's kind of what I was looking for. I was looking for a movie that would not have Predator in the title at all.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Alas,
Bruno,
the marketing department probably didn't greenlight that idea.
Yeah. Right. Exactly that problem, Jack. But it's like how McQuarrie always talks about. That's why you got to go to them first, and you got to be like, "Give me the list. What do you need?" He talks about that with Mission Impossible. He's like, they always need a girl stepping out of a limousine at a nice party in like a slitted dress. So, like, I got to figure out how to work that into all the Mission Impossibles.
Macquarie.
You're saying I'll put whatever Predator killing whatever you want in whatever way. Just let me make it how I want.
But Macquarie and even Cruise, I think, at these Mission Impossible movies they like that, where it's like, paint me into a box.
Right.
Like Cruise wants to hold his breath for 5 minutes, and he wants to hang out the side of a plane, and the studio wants the girl to show up at the opera, and I'll make something out of that.
Right. And that's not how Trachtenberg has approached any of these Predator movies, to varying degrees of artistic and critical success. Right. They are all very specific, like, visions that he has of like, this is the story that I want to tell. But
the thing that works between Prey and Killer of Killers is that the historical setting of each of these stories.
Exactly.
Right? And that's what you need. I think the main problem with Badlands, other than the cuddly monster and all the other stuff, is that we don't need the backstory for that species.
I think with Badlands is that he was kind of like, he had his hand a little bit forced to do like the whole alien crossover thing, which I get a lot of people are excited about. I'm not. I do not want that, but like
I want Alien versus Predator. I just don't like the way they're leading up to it.
Yeah.
I am willing to be charmed by Alien versus Predator, but I remember what was.
The first one is not terrible. It's the second one that sucks.
Second one's tough.
The second one's not good.
Bruno, what do you have for us this week?
Well, I'm keeping us a little bit in the Disney camp, talking a little bit about like the new leadership. It's actually funny. This story was the first time I saw Josh D'Amaro's name in writing, and up until that point, I thought his name was Josh Tomorrow. And I always had
Tomorrow. He would have had that job years ago.
I had the tiniest little joke in the back of my head that like the first thing he does as soon as he's CEO is just do a Tomorrowland remake. But oh well.
Well, actually, Tom Cruise is playing him in a movie called Josh of Tomorrow, which is going to be pretty good.
Well, there we go.
Tomorrowland.
Yeah. So just quick grain of salt, because this is a report coming out of Jeff Snyder's newsletter from last week. According to him, under Josh. Sorry.
I mean, he's been on the program. We can call him friend of the show, Jeff Snyder.
Cool.
That's the rule.
Right. Cool. Friend of the show, Jeff Snyder reported last week that under new Disney CEO Josh D'Amaro, there's a newfound priority behind the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise They're focusing a lot more towards Pirates of the Caribbean 6 and have a focus on this new movie capturing the tone of the original films but with a modern edge and a tighter budget. They have named Oscar nominee Christy Wilson Cairns, known from 1917, to be on board writing the script for this movie. They say that Margot Robbie is still attached with her character, not yet named, and that the story will revolve around her and Jack Sparrow's son. So that's something that I've been excited for, just going back to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. The timing of it all makes me kind of curious if they are going to try to maybe get Gore Verbinski back as a director, especially with them trying to capture the original tone and him coming up with a movie this coming weekend as the time of recording. So yeah, I'm excited by all accounts, but I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it.
I am a little on the sideline of the Pirates movie as far as my opinion goes, where I think the first and third one are decent. I really like the second one, and the fourth and the fifth are super forgettable to me. These movies live and die not only by Jack Sparrow, but also by the quality of the villain. And having Davy Jones, Bill Nighy front and center in those second and third ones is a real, and of course to some extent Jeffrey Rush in the first one, is a big reason of what makes them so good. So if they can get a compelling actor to play a compelling villain, and they can get someone to do really crazy practical action set pieces the way Verbinski did, you have a recipe for success there. I hope that Margot Robbie, whoever she's cast against to play Jack Sparrow's son, I hope it's Jacob Elordi, because I love the press tour that they're currently going on right now. And if that can keep going, and they can just keep working together on every subsequent movie they make, I think Hollywood is saved. So, yeah.
That they had in the third movie that sort of capped off that Elizabeth Swann, Will Turner era.
Yeah,
they had a son, right?
Right.
Because I feel like the rumor was always for so long that any kind of reboot or attempt to go back to Pirates would involve reviving their son as a character. I don't know how charmed I am by the notion of any kind of lineage franchise character. What if they retcon the son to be Sparrow's instead of Will Turner's?
Yeah, that is also true.
I don't. I recognize that the folks at Disney are going to be scared of not having Jack Sparrow in these movies because of how tied he's been to the success of them for so long. But I do think that the success of those movies originally, kind of to your point, Deepak, was taking really accessible pirate stories that had never been really brought to the big screen. That idea of pirate mythology. We sort of have Treasure Island, and that's it in terms of movies about pirates that have had that level of success. You can maybe say Master and Commander, but that's more about military operation.
That's not a pirate movie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So having things like Davy Jones or the Kraken, or even just bad guy pirates who fly under a black flag and will fire cannons at you. Seeing that stuff brought to the big screen was so exciting. And I kind of even feel in this era when Eggers is having so much success, dramatizing folk stories, that's what you should be running towards right now if you're Disney, is find me a pirate story that we can make into a movie that will rip ass.
Right.
More than The Fountain of Youth or whatever.
Yes, sir, Mr. Tomorrow.
They did that with the fourth one, I think.
But that's what I'm saying. And that stunk. Those ones were shitty. Find me a good pirate story about monsters and stuff or whatever.
Just because Deepak brought it up, I will point out Jacob Elordi was an extra in Pirates of the Caribbean 4.
Really?
Oh wow.
Well, good for him.
So was Judi Dench for some reason. I remember that part.
Was he Jack Sparrow's son?
No, he was a redcoat.
Retcons. He now was.
Just like it was always Tom Holland in Iron Man 2, right?
Exactly that. Yeah. All right, Jackson, you want to take us through your story?
Oh yeah, sure. I just wanted to chat a little bit about what's been going on in the video game space, and it feels like lately a lot of the conversation has been dominated by the release of the game Mewgenics from the dual creative tour de force of Edmund McMillan and Tyler Glariel. who made Super Meat Boy, probably first and most famously, and went on to make Binding of Isaac, which was an enormous success, and have had a few small indie game projects since then. But Mewgenics is on track to maybe be their biggest success yet. It was in development since 2018, and so that is, for those of you who don't like to think about time, about 8 years now. And apparently it has, in the first 6 hours of its release, sold enough copies to make back the entire development cost. Granted, a part of that is probably because they are a 2-person creative team who had a very substantial treasure vault of success story behind them to fund a long development. But the fact that it has been as successful as it is I think, surprising, even to them.
Some of it is about is probably about the fact that it's a game about kittens that do war crimes.
It is also a game about little cats. So if you haven't played an Ed McMillan game before, I should perhaps warn you that they are kind of notoriously gross. Super Meat Boy is a game that is predicated on the idea of what if your character turned into tiny, meaty chunks every time he died in a platformer.
They sort of have the stylistic sensibility of Ren and Stimpy.
Yes. It's definitely like cartoonish and almost childlike looking, but then like you will have to fight like bosses that are entirely made of poop. Or like there will just be tremendous amounts of blood and viscera that you don't expect. Like it's very weird. Once you've played his games, you can definitely recognize him from a mile away. So as for the actual gameplay, Mewgenics is a roguelike, sort of in the style of Slay the Spire or Darkest Dungeon, where you work to assemble like a RPG team, although in this case your team are cats. And the cats have randomized abilities and attributes, and you have to go through a randomly generated series of fights to try to see how far you can get. After you're done with every run, you take your cats back home where they fuck and make baby cats with abilities that are inherited from the 2 parents. So it's about sort of managing what abilities your cats have and using it to try to make the best party that you can.
Deepak wasn't ready for that.
No, I don't
like
think
I said,
really were.
The tone is strange at times.
There's worry about anyone who was ready for it. just took that in stride. It's like, yep, okay.
I've not played the game for too much yet. It, at the time of recording, came out yesterday, so we haven't had a ton of time. But it does seem like there's a huge amount of content. One of the reviewers who had a review copy said he had 40 hours in the game, and it was apparently about 15% of the way through it. And McMillan himself has said that while there are secrets that he expects players to be finding for, quote, months and years, the, quote, real ARG shit won't start until the DLC comes out.
What is ARG?
Again, thank you, Deepak. An ARG, since you asked, is a style of game called an augmented reality game.
Deepak, you're familiar with ARGs. Don't you remember, like, the summer that Dark Knight came out? There was that whole thing, that campaign where you could, like, slowly find, like get the QR codes to go to the website to, like, put in the password to, like, unlock the secret trailer for the Joker or whatever.
I vaguely remember this, but I don't remember the QR code.
That's what an ARG is. It's like Jack can explain it better, but those sorts of places are where you guerrilla marketing campaigns.
It integrates into real life somehow.
Yeah, it is kind of an evolution of guerrilla marketing.
So what was the Pokemon game everyone had on their phone where we were going around trying to catch
That's
Charizard?
Pokemon Go, and that's a slightly different thing. Like that's an explicit product that somebody made. Part of the idea of an ARG is it's like a secret that you're finding that somebody put in the world.
Like last year, Game Changer made a really big ARG with their like latest season, like signaling at a secret last episode that no one knew about up until like they solved all the puzzles and stuff. Yeah.
So like the whole season, people were like finding codes in the background of the episode or like isolating audio segments to play it into a microphone and stuff. But there was no indication that this was to be done. People just kind of discovered it organically.
I see. Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
And even then, those are like hidden within the product. When Binding of Isaac did its ARG, There was basically a treasure hunt involving updating icons in the game and ciphers and clues in the real world. You had to call a real phone number to get a clue. And in the end, somebody had to get a real shovel in the real world and go dig up a real buried treasure to unlock a new character for everyone who had Binding of Isaac.
That's insane.
And this treasure was put there intentionally by the people who made the game?
Yes, by the developers of the game.
Oh, okay.
So that sort of stuff is especially crazy, and the fact that he's already teasing this for this new game, it certainly seems like his plans have probably expanded.
He's an ambitious fella, it sounds like.
Well, like I said, he's one of the few indie auteur real success stories, I think, who's kind of been catapulted from making one game in his college dorm to kind of having creative freedom to do anything he wants.
Which is really interesting, right? Because we see that all the time in other media that we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
In comic books, we see
Certainly
that.
more common.
In TV shows and movies, we see that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it is odd that sort of the only avenue that we've seen for video games to like have that success is for these guys to sort of either achieve Hideo Kojima levels of success where they can finance their own studios, like entirely run by people who are dedicated to their artistic vision, or they're like, fuck it, it's just gonna be me, bro. And they put out the game like with them and one buddy. And I think
to that point, Super Meat Boy came out on the Xbox Play Store, which is largely credited for like creating the indie gaming market. Like, it is one of the first success stories of the solo developer. And so I think he is one of the first people to be put in this position, but he might not necessarily be the last. I mean, Toby Fox definitely comes to mind.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's nuts. We'll have to keep an eye on it. I want to play this game. I'll tell you that.
The game's super fun. It plays great on Steam Deck because the art's all 2D and easy to work with. And it's been very fun so far. I'd recommend it strongly. It's going to be my pop culture recommendation.
I have so much stuff to do, though.
Well, I have dropped a meme about Mewgenics into our chat.
I like that. Yeah, it's a Pirates of the Caribbean meme about Mewgenics. That's crazy.
Yeah, like that.
Worlds colliding.
Felt like it was pretty appropriate. You can see that on our socials. I am here this week to talk about... I don't even know how I stumbled across this. You know, sometimes I'm just on here searching for weird stories.
Because you're a stan, Riley. It's okay.
Well, I do love K-pop Demon Hunters. I thought it was a great movie, and I was excited that it achieved the level of success that it achieved. I wasn't necessarily planning
Bruno
on...
forgot.
I forgot about this absolutely ridiculous story. Sorry, continue.
I wasn't necessarily planning on buying either of the two exclusive flavors of Cinnamon Toast Crunch that you can get themed to K-pop Demon Hunter.
2 parentheses 2.
2 parentheses 2. It's a good thing that I wasn't planning on it because I wouldn't have had a chance in hell, guys. I am here to talk about how the K-pop Demon Hunters exclusive brand of Cinnamon Toast Crunch sold out before it was even supposed to be on sale in a Black Friday in the 90s-esque online fever pitch of a sale. So it was supposed to go up at 12 p.m., but apparently they loaded up the site early, and the fans who were just like sitting there refreshing on, I think like the, like, what is it, General Mills website? I think that's
Buy direct.
Something like that. Yeah.
From the coffers.
They loaded her up early and
pour it off the assembly line and into my mouth.
So they were fully sold out by 12:06 p.m. that same day. And I was seeing people listing, we'll call it what it is, secondhand Cinnamon Toast Crunch on
like
eBay.
It's not even, not that this would justify it, it's not even a different flavor. It's a box, right?
So why not just pull out the cereal and then sell the flattened cardboard box? Like, I collect physical media.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Incorrect. This is incorrect.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is the exclusive flavor.
It is 2 different hidden flavors. We don't know what the flavors are, y'all.
Oh, interesting.
Is this like the white Airhead? Like,
it's like the white Airhead for sure. Yes, it is exactly like that. They are mystery flavor. There is a Saja Boy. There's a Saja Boy secret flavor of Cinnamon Toast Crunch and a Huntrix secret flavor of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Both completely sold out 8 minutes.
Wow.
So that's why I can't tell what flavors they are because the boxes have no branding for the flavors because it's a fun surprise. That's insane.
There's just
I remember hearing once that the mystery airheads are because when they change flavors on the production line, they don't want to stop the machine. So they just stop coloring them. And as like the flavor gradient goes from blueberry to raspberry, they package all of those as white mystery flavors.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
That's insane.
I don't know what the cereal version of that is.
If you're hearing this now and you know anything about Airhead production, info at nerdigo.com. We would love to hear more about that. Yeah, no, I bet that they probably taste like crunch berries or whatever. Anyway, if you were disappointed
berries taste like snozzleberries.
If you were disappointed that you weren't able to get your hands on Saja Boy and Huntrix Cinnamon Toast Crunch, don't worry. They're doing a second release.
They will make more. Stop banging down our doors.
For the love of God, please leave us alone.
Remember how these movies were about how people get insanely overexcited about standing for K-pop stars, and then they did it for real?
So, guys, listen, you guys know I collect physical media and that I've been outside Best Buys and stuff like that when they're about to launch like a new steelbook for a Marvel movie. The important thing is to get your elbows up. Mm-hmm. You want to box people out. And it doesn't matter how old or young they are. In fact, the older or younger they are, they're probably closer to elbow level anyway. So just it's this motion. It's this.
Deepak, genuine question. Is that an actual issue that you get into when you're going after steelbooks?
It happened once when I was living in Los Angeles and Doctor Strange came out and they had a lot of the Blu-ray version, but not the 3D version. And there was a guy who went around and he just got there in the front of the line and got like the 3 that happened to be at the West Hollywood Best Buy.
Okay.
And I had to trek out to Glendale to get it.
So according to sporks.com, which is where I turn for all of my Cinnamon Toast Crunch and breakfast cereal related news.
Sure.
Lovely.
February 18th is going to be the next opportunity for fans to get a hold of this Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I would load up the website a couple minutes early if I were you.
For sure.
That's my inside tip. I also wanted to say that this box of Pandora Flakes,
I was going to say,
has been featured on, I'd say at this point, maybe hundreds of episodes of a prominent podcast that will be featured at South by Southwest. Mm-hmm. It's featured. We'll be featuring them if anything.
They're showing our podcast. At South by
yeah, we're screening it. They're screening this episode of the podcast. Deepak and I are doing a Q&A afterwards with Larry David. Anyway, $80, it's yours. Hit me up. You know where to find it.
Trade for trade. Pandora Flakes for Huntrix Golden Cereal.
Just one. You don't even need to give me them both. All right, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we get back, we are talking about the Super Bowl because it's Sports Month. All right, so because it's Sports Month, we wanted to talk about the Super Bowl, but because it was maybe not the most offensively exciting Super Bowl in the world, I think mostly we're going to talk about some of the ads and stuff we saw. We can talk about the game too if we want. I'm not trying to be sort of early 2000s glib about it and be like, oh, I only watch it for the commercials. But whatever we want to talk about with the Super Bowl.
I mean, from an actual sports perspective, it's the second one in a row that was very heavy on defense.
Right.
Last year, of course, was my beloved Eagles destroying the Chiefs dynasty. This year was the sequel to the Legion of Boom, which they're calling the Dark Side. I hate
the Dark
that
Side.
I hate that.
Which is appropriate for our fan base, the Dark Side.
Yeah.
Just Star Wars based. I'm not calling anybody like a Sith.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Followed us.
Star Wars sucks. But anyway.
Isolate that one from Bruno. Let's just throw it on the soundboard.
Needs to get that out at least once a week.
Well, let's start with the Mandalorian trailer. I thought that looked interesting. It was at least like a funny kind of take on it.
Have you guys seen that a lot of people online are mad about that?
Yes. I was telling Riley about this earlier.
About a Star Wars thing?
Yeah, no way. Are you kidding? Yeah. But no, apparently it didn't land with the target audience of Star Wars fans, which is, who would have thought? Because no one really knows how to market this movie that's based on a bunch of TV shows that are well past their prime.
A bunch of TV shows.
Yeah.
That nobody liked, most of by time.
Yeah, I think it's, what is it, generally considered that the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian are pretty good, and then after that it got bad, but the first 2 seasons ended during lockdown, I think, maybe, like 2021. Right. So it's been that long, and Disney, of course, is always striking when the iron is just red hot. But there was also the fact that it's kind of modeled after the old Budweiser commercials, so if you're marketing a movie that's a Star Wars movie ostensibly to a younger audience, especially with Baby Yoda in it, then why are you basing it on a beer commercial since they probably don't drink beer? And if you have to go in and explain the concept, which Lucasfilm did later on, then your concept probably didn't work to begin with. But that's par for the course with Star Wars these days. I know other than maybe Andor, everything else seems to be kind of throwing shit at the wall, hoping it sticks, which is probably what this movie is going to be.
What an interesting pickle for them to be in, right? I do think it's sort of similar to what we were talking about with Trachtenberg's Alien, where like this is the pivot point. I think that now, like, it is now firmly targeted at a new generation. We are not the group they are interested in, and so like you're going to have more Baby Yodas, for example, right? But I don't know. They've just so clearly lost all mojo that was ever associated with that thing. You know what I mean? Like,
or any of the streaming properties.
No, with Star Wars.
It has a name. Oh,
it's just fucking Star Wars, man. Like, just the fact that I can't even get excited for a Star Wars trailer during the Super Bowl, I just feel like is such an indictment.
Well, here's the thing.
When I announced it. Hold on, let me look up a timeline. You make your point.
Well, don't we always talk about how we're glad that they're not doing an every year Star Wars movie because it gives them time to build up to the next one and create that anticipation, and it becomes more of an event.
This is kind of my point.
And this is the first one since not just Rise of Skywalker, but it's the first one since before COVID. And no one seems to care.
No.
This is remember when Game of Thrones was ending and they thought they might do a Game of Thrones movie as the big finale?
Right.
This is what this is.
But it hasn't. You're right that it has been a while, but it has also been the least amount of time. Like in between the original trilogy and the prequels was 15 years. And in between the prequels and the sequels was 10 years. And now it's been 7 years. And there have been TV shows the entire time in between.
It is
we're more diluted with Star Wars content.
Type of a gap, actually. That's sort of wild to think about. That this was like the prequel to sequel gap or the originals to prequels gap. And I suppose you're right that it is like on that order of magnitude, if only a little shorter. And there has been other stuff in there, but like, yeah, maybe, I don't know. I think that's sort of where we are with it, is they just need to run away from, like, we keep hearing these things about bringing Rey back or the Ben Solo thing that they didn't do.
Right.
And like, I understand some of that impulse, and I would be here for another Daisy Ridley movie, but I wonder if maybe just getting as far away from the Skywalker saga as possible is like the cure for that problem for them.
But wouldn't that be what this is doing?
Yeah, well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so you got to do a couple of them, right? Like maybe, like Jack's saying, like you do the first one and it's sort of Phantom Menace, but like, you know, you got a couple of those.
The next one is Attack of the Clones, and people famously love that one too.
I'm saying sooner or later you're at revenge.
Maybe don't do Attack of the Clones.
We'll do Attack of the Clones with the input that I'd give.
But here's the thing that I before we move on to the next few trailers, I just want to make sure that I emphasize again. Bob Iger's really good at this.
Right.
He is so good at making decisions about what movies to make and when to make them. He's incredible.
He's gonna be gone by the time this one hits.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's almost like he's a robber getting away with the loot before the cops come. You know.
Somehow Palpatine has returned.
How do you guys think tomorrow's gonna do?
To remind everybody that that's how that movie starts. And we can talk about why it starts that way another time, perhaps.
We don't have to.
What else did we see? Supergirl trailer.
Was that during the game?
That wasn't.
That's what I'm having a hard time with. Is so much of this, like they don't actually release them on the day for anything anymore.
So here's
like weeks ahead of time.
So during the game, there was, and these are some of the lower level ones. I'll just run through those because I know there's a few that we want to focus on. But Scream 7, Hoppers, which is the new Pixar movie.
Yep,
that does look cute.
Right.
So one that we may want to spend a little bit of time on is Project Hail Mary. I know we've talked about that, but that's coming out next month, and obviously Hail Mary, so Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Sports month.
Supergirl, in addition to being part of the, like, it was released around that time of the Super Bowl, we also got a new Mario Brothers
it was
trailer.
during the Puppy Bowl trailer. I remember that now because that's what James Gunn was aiming for.
And I think they released a new poster with what's his face, the Crypto as the main.
Yeah,
that makes
as
sense.
a little puppy.
The new trailer is pretty crypto themed.
So the two big ones that are remaining that we have to talk about are the two that are coming from some big heavy hitter directors. We'll start with the one that I think was a surprise to all of us. I don't think there was ever any buzz that we were going to see any of this anytime soon, but we got the untitled trailer for what we know is now called The Adventures of Cliff Booth, which is of course the sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Brad Pitt, written by Quentin Tarantino, directed by David Fincher, and it looks awesome. We got really nothing. Good. Yeah, we got nothing as far as like plot or anything, but it's just following Brad Pitt in his Oscar-winning role around Hollywood.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but when this trailer started, hold on, I'm going to move back a little. You guys know what I did?
Yeah.
I went.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of talk about this one when I was at a public gathering for the Super Bowl, and I was definitely trying to clock what people were like talking about and seemed interested in.
I want to get your feedback on all that. This was a perfect segue for you to do that for all of the things you saw, Jack. But please start with this.
Sure. There were a few that definitely stood out, and this was one of them. In part because people did recognize it, and maybe not everyone is as tuned into the news of the entertainment world as me, and so they're like, it's Quentin Tarantino making this movie, and there's a whole story there to be talked about. I think people were generally excited. People really liked how they handled like the nudity and the drinking and the other things that aren't allowed on the Super Bowl.
The censorship in the trailer I thought was very clever and sort of reminded me of something that perhaps
it's very
a younger,
grindhousey.
I won't say hotter Brad Pitt would have done in Fight Club when he was working with David Fincher last time.
Yeah. It was very reminiscent of that.
Not last time, obviously. They Benjamin Buttons together since then, but
they had a silly old time.
They Benjamin their buttons. But then the other big one that came from another big director who we haven't seen in like 4 years now is, of course, Spielberg's Disclosure Day.
Which people were torn for.
I was going to say, Jack, this was the one that you said got a huge reaction in the room, right?
Yeah, people were excited about this one.
So I hadn't seen the trailer, so I don't know how much of it is new compared to the trailer that came out a couple months ago.
It's different footage, but this is basically what the first trailer was.
I would say there's one
the last
big shot.
The last shot with the clouds, which reminded me of Nope. But
Yes. And Bruno, I thought Nope, of course, reminded me of Close Encounters. But Bruno, you called out how much this looked like Close Encounters.
And it was specifically because of that like one last shot that makes me very much go, this looks like Close Encounters.
The man's got an idea for aliens.
Yeah. There is something that he's like that's bouncing around in his head, and I'm curious to see what it is. I'm sure we all are.
That's the question, right? Is this just like auteur theory playing out? And it's like, this is what a spaceship coming to Earth looks like in Steven Spielberg's brain, and he's able to render it perfectly on screen, you know, decades apart from each other. Or is this Close Encounters 4?
Of the fourth kind, in which case we need to make that business card fast.
We need to get those business cards going, baby. But so either way, I'm excited, and I think Disclosure Day looks cool as hell. Does it not seem to you guys like he is maybe playing with the idea of faith pretty actively in the trailer? Like,
yes,
I'm so
absolutely
curious to see what the role of like angels versus aliens and how we think about those things as different or the same. Like, I'm pretty excited for this. This seems like our man's giving it both barrels here.
Right. That's an interesting angle, and I don't know, maybe it's because we just saw Knives Out, but I wonder if the Josh O'Connor character is playing another sort of religiously angled character.
That was another. I will say, as much as people were excited for Spielberg, people were also excited for Josh O'Connell. They were
was really good in Knives Out. Yeah, I'm excited for him too. I like Emily Blunt. I like Colin Firth. I like Coleman Domingo. They all look good. The CG animals did not look great, but I'm sure they have time to fix that. So yeah,
it does seem like they're all full plot important.
Well, they're on the posters, right? The posters are the cardinal.
I am curious to see how like the animals are going to come into play, especially with like the deer and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because of you called it out separately, Bruno. Kind of a funny coincidence, but I feel like in a post-Nope world, savvy audiences are pretty forgiving of bad CGI animals now. Like, I feel like Nope like made the case to audiences that like no more animals on sets ever. And now
That's true.
if you see like a really shitty
yeah.
CGI deer, you're like, oh well, at least the chimp didn't tear a child's face off in this movie or whatever.
I need to
So I was actually thinking about the bad CGI animals as part of this movie's relationship to Nope, but I'm sure that that's just me doing that. I don't know that. Although, you know, Nope, I heard was still, I think it was becoming like a permanent installation on the Universal Tram Tour. And Steven Spielberg, of course, is he's got money in that Universal park. So
yeah, he's like Cameron to Fox. They only built it because of him.
Exactly. Do we want to talk about other non-movie based ads that we liked? I enjoyed when the polar bear drank that remember when the polar bear did the Pepsi
the polar
challenge?
bear Pepsi ad is maybe worth noting.
The one that gave me nightmares was Jurassic Park for Xfinity, and the de-aged Sam Neill who looked like his face was melting.
The de-aged Sam Neill was frightening.
Yeah, they seem to have de-aged Laura Dern and
no, Goldblum too, but
Goldblum.
Sam Neill was tough.
Sam Neill was bad, and Attenborough's of course passed
Sam
away.
doesn't take to de-aging.
The lighting was like wrong. His face looked like he was inside. It was so weird.
Conceptually, it was kind of cool though to see like, oh, what if Jurassic Park worked? But then I realized that we got like an entire movie about that called Jurassic World, where it worked for like 20 minutes. So
listen, if I don't use my platform for these sorts of things, what am I using it for? I was watching the game all day. Like I put on pregame coverage at noon or whatever. And really, really early in the day, I saw an ad teasing this Jurassic Park ad. And the style of the ad was in like 90s footage. They like rolled up on the gate and it said, welcome to JurassicPark.com. And I said, Maggie, I don't care what plans we have. I don't care how much it costs. We are canceling. We are going. And I'm like screaming because I'm thinking that they have done Galaxy's
did the dinosaurs,
Edge with dinosaurs. Like I'm not actually thinking they've cloned dinosaurs, right? But like,
I thought that.
Let us be clear, was part of the original pitch of Animal Kingdom.
Right. They did have dinosaurs and unicorns and dragons and all that shit that they were going to just have walking around. But I thought that these goofballs over at Universal Studios had finally gotten their shit together, and instead of getting so preoccupied with this Harry Potter nonsense, they had pumped some money into a tropical island that I was going to get to go to, where animatronic dinosaurs would jump out of a bush at me from time to time. And I was like, I will pay any amount of
$1
money.
million.
Yes, I will pay anything to go to that. And instead they wanted to sell me Xfinity Wi-Fi. What a fucking letdown.
Which is something you're not willing to pay anything for.
Yeah, that's $0 for that, baby. Can if I want to. I live in a Verizon area. So anyway, that was a bummer.
If anyone loses their dog, Ring cameras can help you find them.
Right. I did see that one.
Usually it's me screaming about the creep of fascism in the suburbs. That one got my wife going really quickly.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she was not sure about these Ring cameras. And I don't blame her. That one was weird. And it seems like, I mean, D-Bag, you're so much more plugged into the online response than I am. It seemed like she wasn't alone in having that reaction.
No.
It seemed like people were sort of universally being like, this is creepy, turn it off.
And I'll admit, I'm the sucker that watched that ad and was like, aw. That's great. And like,
well, you love your dog.
Well, yeah, and
to be clear
the Latino,
to anyone who maybe hasn't seen,
and the Latino neighbor and the white neighbor get along at the end, and everyone's
right.
And
sure,
it's heartwarming.
I love not being racist.
Yeah, it was only after I saw the online response that I was like, yeah, I could stalk an ex-girlfriend if I wanted to.
Right. The premise is that you can like send out a signal to all of the Ring cameras in your neighborhood to look for example, a golden retriever if it has been lost, and then you'll be notified about where you find it. But
now
it's not hard to extrapolate out from dogs to literally anything else, and it gets a lot creepier when it's not your property.
I would trust that the software, if not at the very least my neighbors would know that if they got an alert saying, hey, can you be on the lookout for like a 5'6" lithe woman in yoga pants, they would say,
you would think
probably not.
But that's the thing, is just the fact that the hardware is there, you know.
Yeah,
really
no,
what
I
you
think
don't want is you don't want the police state to be able to.
Right, it's from the other agent.
I unfortunately think that battle has been lost.
Well, no, I mean, that's the thing, is I do sort of, I feel like the Walter character from Big Lebowski when I start yelling about that sort of thing. But you look at what's happening in Minnesota or whatever, and I don't understand why people can look at this and be like, oh, it's fine. Anyway, we don't have to get into
it. Sounds like
right
they
now.
didn't. So,
speaking of scary technological application, how about the one where Alexa tries to tell Chris Hemsworth how to live his life and what dreams he should and shouldn't pursue and such, and then she tries to kill him.
Well, and I am very much Chris Hemsworth because I'm skeptical until it goes, you should eat cake. And I'm like, oh, what are you doing tonight?
That's
I like the one. Go ahead.
I was just going to say this commercial started off with Chris Hemsworth doing an episode of Robot News. Being like, hey,
all the different ways
that Alexa out of here. It's going to drop the garage door on me.
I also really like the one where Sabrina Carpenter wanted to bang a potato chip.
Yeah.
That one was good.
Because I also often feel very sexual towards Pringles.
I was fascinated by it as a part of the larger Sabrina Carpenter has incredible chemistry with non-human items opposed to the
literally anything.
Yeah, right. She had been doing so much great work with Piggy. Now she's doing it with potato chips. I'm starting to think this girl's got the juice. I texted Deepak after the Andy Cohen ad with the Nerds clusters because
oh god, I disliked something about a large candy man following me around was tremendously foreboding.
An ad tailor-made for my sister who is obsessed with Real Housewives and Nerd Gummies.
Oh, I'm sure that the algorithm or the the numbers they were looking at were
that
telling
Venn
them
diagram
many
is a
people
circle.
were there. Yeah. But that's so it opens with that, as you say, Jack, the nerd cluster turning into a giant man. And Andy Cohen observes,
a large foreboding gentleman.
Andy Cohen observes,
the Kool-Aid
wow,
guy's
you're
cousin.
mega and juicy now. And I texted Deepak and I said, this is how I will be greeting you every time I see you.
And you haven't. We've spoken like 3 times since then.
So anyway, those were some of the ones that stood out to me. Anybody want to
do we want to talk about Goodwill Duncan?
Yeah, that one was odd. I liked seeing George.
Okay.
You didn't care for Goodwill Duncan.
we simply don't have to then.
Everyone looked like they were from the 90s except for Tom Brady, who looked like he was from today.
They just kept coming was the thing. I was
So
perfectly
many of them.
very weird.
I got what they were going for with the first guy.
Yeah, I was happy with
it took me
Urkel
some
and
time.
the young man, the guy from Fresh Prince.
I was like, yeah, the 90s
Carlton.
were cool.
And then Joey was there. Yeah, I was hoping it would be mostly George because I'm selfish that way.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Then
Aniston didn't look like she'd been de-aged because I don't think she needs it.
Oh.
No.
Will Shat.
That was shameful. My God.
I had fun with
what-
Will Shat. That was good.
I hope
was
that's
this
not
one?
the last public thing we see of him where he is Will Shat.
I don't know that I might have walked away during
This was
Shatner.
William Shatner doing a commercial for Raisin Bran where he was just calling himself Will Shat the whole time.
Remember the thing a couple weeks ago?
Well, that's
they
what
saw
I
him
was going to say. We
eating
saw the
cereal?
thing where he was
Yeah.
driving and eating cereal in traffic or whatever.
That was their ARG for this ad. See what I did there? I learned.
Well, I
Now
wanted
you're
to
getting
call,
it.
no, I wanted to call out Deepak. Do you remember the Mr. Beast ad where they advertised Slack?
I remember seeing
And
Mr.
he's like
Beast.
walking through a lab, and there's all this crazy stuff going on, and he's like, somebody's going to solve this puzzle to win $1 million.
No, I don't think I was paying attention to that ad, but I remember it happening.
That's why you don't have $1 million.
That was an ARG.
That's the one reason. That's the one reason.
They transformed Guy Fieri into a regular guy, probably
Regular
with
Guy
AI.
Fieri was good,
Yes.
Right.
and it was a Power Tools ad. I wasn't expecting that twist.
What was the one? Was it? It was the Backstreet Boys karaoke. It was Coinbase.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like T-Mobile or something.
I think it was Coinbase.
Yeah, they were definitely in a phone store.
No, it was the one that was literally karaoke. It was maybe it wasn't Backstreet Boys. It was NSYNC. It was like a blue screen with black lyrics, and they were just doing karaoke.
Oh, yes.
Oh yes, that
Yes.
one was weird.
That
Yeah.
was strange. And I couldn't possibly tell you what it was for.
I think it was Coinbase. And then there was Ben Stiller and the guy who does Sonic in one quick ad that was apparently directed by Spike Jonze.
What?
And I already don't remember. I think it was for Instacart.
I'm always shocked when you discover like
I'll
really great
admit,
work.
I didn't watch Super Bowl, guys. I was at the
Yeah,
movie theater.
it's called Bananas, and it was for Instacart.
Bruno, what'd you see at the movies?
Oh, I went to go watch Send Help, which was a really great recommendation, by the way, Riley.
Oh, fucking rules, man. Great movie.
Yeah.
Emma Stone and Yorgos Lanthimos did a
That
Squarespace.
did not live up to the hype.
Yeah, that was weird.
Was looking forward to that one.
As we wrap up, should we maybe talk about the Pokemon ad?
Yeah, that was the only other one I had.
Yeah, I missed that one live. I remember telling you guys I heard it from the restaurant.
So it featured lots of celebrities, Lady Gaga, Trevor Noah,
the Never Have I Ever girl.
the Never Have I Ever girl, talking about their favorite Pokemon. But like the first half,
Well,
you
it
didn't
sort of
know-
starts with them ambiguously talking about their favorites, and you're like, what are they talking about?
Right. And I think that that's why it works, is because they're talking about their favorites, and then they start talking about how different their favorites are, and then they start to show the Pokemon like in the shot with them when they're talking about their favorites. And I thought that worked really well. But Jack, you observed that like it was interesting how the internet was like so quick to pick up basically the
I just
hook
think
of the ad.
whoever wrote this commercial clearly did a good job. Because
Yeah, right.
everybody
It
was
works
like,
really well is the point. Yeah.
wow, all these Pokemon fit so well. No wonder Lady Gaga loves Jigglypuff. She also sings, said everybody. And I was like, guys, she's never played Pokemon in her life.
Psyduck and Trevor Noah are both funny and confused.
How many of them said Pikachu right off the bat and were like, no, you can't do Pikachu, you can't do Charizard.
Yeah, no, right.
The only one, which I think Bruno pointed out, because both of you, Deepak, pointed out that most of them were from Gen 1, except for one semi-obscure legendary from Gen 6. I think that guy plays Pokemon.
Fucking calling out Zygarde in the middle of this fucking lineup was insane to me. I'm sorry.
I do think this is, I can't remember exactly what it was, but on last week's episode when we spoke about Iron Lung, we talked about Markiplier and the Pokemon Smash or Pass video. I did end up showing that to my wife in the intervening week. So
Okay.
can't remember if it
very
was because
funny.
of this or because of a different reason. But all right, when we get back, we're going to wind the episode down.
We did it.
We did the podcast.
It's done. It's over.
That's it. We did the podcast. That's been this week's episode of Nerdigo News. Thank you so much for listening or watching. If you want to get more of our stuff, make sure you head over to nerdigo.com where you can subscribe and get all of our stuff delivered to you for free. Or if you paid $10 a month, you'll get behind the paywall and get access to even more content like Deepak and I recapping every episode of Miami Vice. We're about to wrap up season 1. This would be a great time for you to jump on. Before we get out of here, we're going to hit you with some pop culture recommendations. These are things we've been watching, reading, eating, playing, or listening to that we've enjoyed recently and we think you'll like too. And since he already spoiled it for us, I guess we'll start with Jackson.
I was kind of glancing around to see if there was anything else I've done recently that's worth pointing out. But no, I think we've been in a bit of a dry spell in the video game era. And I'm
Maybe for you.
Mewgenics to hopefully bring us out of it. I'm sure it'll be most of my free time for the next, at least this upcoming weekend.
Deepak, take your time with this one, please.
Yeah, so while Jackson's getting dry over video games over there, I found this stud at GameStop recently.
Look at this.
It's a Tintin video game for the Switch. Tintin Reporters, Cigars of the
steelbook.
Pharaoh. Oh my god,
Yeah,
you
what
guys
the
have
fuck?
to see it. It's awesome. I didn't even know they made Switch steelbooks.
I didn't either.
It's incredible.
Certainly not for whatever the fuck this is. What?
It's so cool.
Deepak, does it taste bad?
No, I haven't
Does it
tried
taste
the
bad for
cigars
real?
yet.
We should
little
find out if this one tastes bad
postcards.
because it comes in different packaging.
I never heard of this game before.
No, you guys,
Yeah,
he
what the
texted me
fuck?
about this.
What is this collector's edition?
This motherfucker texted me about this from the GameStop, and it's $25. And he's like, "I'm trying to not spend so much money." I'm like, "This is the Matrix just broke and spawned this game right in front of you."
This is from an alternate universe
Yeah.
where Tintin is the #1 franchise in America.
So this is based on what is in the kind of canonical series, the second book called Cigars of the Pharaoh. I have played about an hour of it. You get to be not only Tintin, but you get to be his little dog at certain points, Snowy, who's my favorite character in the comics. And it's really cool. You're right now. I'm still on the cruise ship, which is really only like the first 3 or 4 pages of the comic, but they fleshed it out to make it more of a game. And you get to like interact with the different people on the boat, and when you're the dog, it's because you have to like hide from people who are looking for you. So you're hiding under furniture and between suitcases and in the boiler room and all sorts of stuff. You're going through the ducts, and it's fun. It's exactly what a video game should be. There's like levels and structure, and you have to like solve puzzles, and it's not like some open world just like replace my life with cyber bullshit. It's wonderful. It's exactly what a game should be. I'm having a blast.
Tintin Reporter Cigars of the Pharaoh,
which apparently doesn't have good reviews, but that only now further cements the fact that it's probably
yeah, who cares?
Well, I can't say I'm terribly surprised, but I'm glad you and this game found each other.
Me too. Absolutely.
I found love in a hopeless place, guys.
All right, Bruno, what you got?
All right, gonna do rapid fire again. I promise I'll stop doing this one day. But going through my multiples? Multiples. Going through my Oscar watch list one more time. I recently did Smashing Machine, which I thought was pretty good. It was Benny Safdie's first solo directorial debut, starring Dwayne Johnson as MMA fighter Mara Kerr and Emily Blunt as his wife. And it is
Benny Safdie, who I've always said is the better, more respectable Safdie brother who really deserves our attention. Who I think
you're right. It is like much like Marty Supreme. It is a little like a lot different and a little bit of a pivot from a sports biopic and focusing on something a lot different. Aside from that, there is a lot of differences that you do see between the two brothers when it comes to just storytelling and directing. Editing, though, they are like 1-to-1. Like, I would not be surprised if both of these films had the exact same cutting room and they were just like taking turns working on each other's movies, like swapping out copy or whatever. But I thought Dwayne Johnson was really good. He doesn't really like disappear into the role, but he does like slowly fade into it. And like by like 20-30 minutes into the movie, you're like fully bought into what he's doing. Moving right along, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I don't have much to talk about this movie because I'm still sort of like digesting it. I'm still sort of devastated by it. I'm still recovering from it. It's one of those movies that merits a rewatch, but I also don't think if I want to do that. But still, one of the best movies of last year. Rose Byrne, like my current top pick for Best Actress this year. That's at least the most that I can say of this movie. I want to punch Conan O'Brien in the face, which is not something I thought I could say. And then lastly, which I already mentioned earlier in the podcast, I watched Send Help by a recommendation from Riley, which is Sam Raimi at his Sam Raimiest. Really, really good movie. Just like for anyone who loves Sam Raimi, it's a really, really good movie. I understand it not being everybody's cup of tea. There are definitely like a couple of moments where Sam Raimi goes a little bit too Evil Dead. I very much enjoyed it. My girlfriend very, very much didn't. But yeah, it's a blast.
There's
for anyone
maybe
who's a fan.
One moment he goes to.
There are two, at least.
Okay.
But no, the knife scene is like gonna be sticking with me for like this whole year. Another scene which I'm not gonna get into because it's like a little bit spoilery is also gonna be sticking with me for the whole year.
Yeah, it's such a good movie. I hope everybody on this show watches it so we can talk about it before the end of the year. I am taking a class online right now about Black romantic comedies. And I ordered, with the help of Deepak, I ordered a whole slurry of Blu-rays to support my studies there. And I wanted to call out from that class Love Jones, which was just an absolute rocket ship of a movie, guys. Everybody on this show should watch Love Jones. It's a romantic comedy. It's in the Criterion Collection. It's directed by Theodore Witcher. It is the only movie he ever directed, which is an absolute crime because this thing is off the charts good. It came out, get this, ever heard of this date? March 14th, 1997, the day I turned 6 years old.
Good day for things to get made.
Good day for stuff to get made. Just the chemistry between the two leads in this movie, Nia Long and Lorenz Tate, is off the charts good. My head was spinning around the entire time. The plotting, I think, is so relatable. In so many romantic comedies, especially from like the prime rom-com era, you sort of run into this problem plot-wise where like you sort of have to find a way to artificially foment the will they won't they, like have them split up in the second act. It kind of becomes predictable, maybe boring to the audience. These two characters are so like lived in and real and such fully considered characters and not just like archetypes, that they just sort of go in and out of each other's lives. Like they just organically have other things. So they kind of drift apart and then they come back together, and they drift apart and they come back together. And I found that mechanism of storytelling in a romantic comedy to be so refreshing, because I didn't feel like I was sort of a slave to the story structure that I've become used to, where just like they have to break up in the second act because he lied to her or whatever. Right. It was just so good. So definitely recommend everybody watch that. And then I'm going to do a smuggle like Bruno and say that for the Miami Vice podcast, I have in the background also been playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City, which has been a real treat to dip back into. I downloaded the remastered trilogy of Grand Theft Auto games, which I believe is 3 Vice City and Liberty City. Is that right, Jack? You look like you were about to...
I believe that is correct, yes.
Yeah, no, I think it is right. You look like you were going to say I was wrong, but if you think I'm right, I'm going to be happy with it. Those games have been very fun. I will say, Deepak.
It's the first 3 3D ones, 1 and 2.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The first 3 kind of modern ones. They from the early 2000s, Vice City, I think 2002, just even remastered, and they did a good job with the remasters. The remasters are really great. They dealt with everything you could have possibly wanted. They put the modern GTA 5 control structure on there. Like the draw distance is great. I was like shooting guys with a machine gun from like 100 yards off, which you totally couldn't have done in 2002. Like, it is a very modern video game. I don't mean this is any kind of negative thing. Boy, does the nostalgia just fucking thump my amygdala on this one, man. Like all these boxy guys running around with their guns, just shooting each other out. I'm like, yes!
I'll sometimes pick up like old DS games and I'll replay them, and I get a very similar where I'm like, oh, I forgot. I spent like this was my life. This was
my reality for years. Yeah. So yeah, it's been fun, and it's been fun. This episode that we recorded this week was the first one where I had been playing Vice City. So I'm hoping that in the future I'll be able to give some insights into like, oh, this thing's in Vice City. So far, I have noticed a lot of the episodes Deepak and I have recorded so far about like speedboat races or shootouts in the Everglades or staking out courthouses. I have been doing a lot of those missions, so I'm curious if I'll continue to follow the arc. And if you're curious about that, get behind that paywall, $10 a month. Deepak and I, Miami Vice. I'm telling you, this episode we did today, good.
Yep.
This has been Nerdigo News. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you tune back in, not next week because we'll be off, but the week after that. I want to thank Bruno Meneses for producing and editing this program. I want to thank Purple Planet for our music. I want to thank you for being a loyal subscriber to the show, or if this is your first time, I want to thank you for checking us out, and we hope you will tune in next week to hear